Greetings, salutations, and other big words. My name's Ethan. My handle is Wrangler. Welcome to Frequency Studios. And today, IronAge Spotlight number 6. We have with us, welcome back, Black Knight, here to talk about the Rifle Song, Velen the Lothorian. Black Knight, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime. Glad to. So, the Rifle Song, a new short story. Hey, Kiko, he's down in the comments. A nice short story introducing a new character to the Star Shatter lore.
Indeed.
So, would now you're currently working on book 8 in the Star Shatter series, correct?
Oh yes, yeah. It's beyond like the 40% done mark.
Cool.
Yeah. Plus, as you know, I keep working on the short stories for my Patreon page, my Patreon supporters, which they will later become part of the second Star Shatter's short story anthology. Yeah, just like
Oh,
the
wow.
first one, Mandate of Sword and Railgun. I think you got it. Also, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I like how you say that. You know, we used to always hear sword and sorcery, and I hear you say sword and railgun,
Oh
making it a
yes.
nice swashbuckling space adventure.
Yeah, but you have not only the swashbuckling, you also have the pew pew and the bang bang.
Yes, we do. Although I'm not so sure I would call Velen the Lothorian swashbuckling. He
Mm.
seems to be quite the stoic character.
Oh yes, that's probably one of the traits which most Luthorians share, except the upper class, the lords and priest class, um, which, as you know from the introduction of Velin,
Mm-hmm.
they are not quite your usual semi fantasy slash um, medieval type um, priests and lords. They are significantly less cozy.
Yeah, but there, but even though it's sci-fi and takes place in going from planet to planet in different settings, there's still this fantastical element, this mystical element to some of the things. There's a spirituality that goes on,
Oh yes.
and that adds a really neat mix,
As you
especially with
know, yeah,
the people of the main planet in this current book.
yeah, the Verna. Well, as you know from reading the first book, and after you get to the second, you will learn even more. The spiritual part of Star Shatter is quite prominent, I should say. And even though you
Mm-hmm.
have certain groups that they are somewhat dismissive about all of this, the scientific community, they know it. It's like it's there because we not only can see it with sensors, but we can get um, we can be touched or even killed by these entities. So for something that people do not or would not believe in, and these are quite deadly, quite deadly apparitions and other entities. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, Velen, he is the main character. He is a Lothorian.
Yeah,
Together, look pretty much the same as humans for the most part, don't they?
they do because most creatures, most intelligent creatures are they share humanoid traits, but since his people are from another world, they may look human, but they have different DNA, of course,
Hmm.
different skin color, eye coloration, hair coloration, etc., etc. It's as you can read uh, in the intro. You know what what happened to him and
Hmm.
his family and so forth. So it's not. Hmm, it's how should I put it? Without giving out too many spoilers. This is it shares many similarities with other tragic stories since Lutoria is uh, quite a tragic place.
Hmm. I mean,
And
his whole job was desert runner, right?
well, yeah, his father trained him as a desert runner because they would not be allowed to use animals to do that. Um, Animals were much more expensive and valued as the lives of the peasantry and the serfs
Hmm.
by the lords. Lords they enjoyed their carriages, they enjoyed their meat, and as they mention it themselves, it's like the life of a peasant is much more. It's like they can be replaced easily replaced. They're cheap, as you
Yeah.
know.
What was it? I think it was the movie Braveheart. I remember the king saying, "Send in the Irish; they're cheaper than the arrows," and you
Mm.
can see that similar kind of attitude happening over from the oppressors there. Like the people are disposable; our things are what matter.
And they're icons almost. It's the mentality of these lords who see themselves as superior. Um, they are different. They are above everyone else. Even though they most certainly are not. Like they're not. They see themselves almost as demigods.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, like my farts don't smell. I'm superior, but we all know that they are quite mortal. They bleed. They die.
Yep.
It's just that to maintain their structures of oppression um, and their power, they have to keep the oppressed um, uneducated, poor, and of course dependent on a supremely finite amount of nourishment. So they are unable to revolt.
Just strong enough to do their job, but not strong enough to fight back.
Yep, yep. And you have the knight class, which are not exactly 100% the same as let's say medieval knights. Um, they are similar they have their own code, which of course it's always obey your lord, etc., etc. But it, he might have heard about things which his heretic of a father told me him stories and learned him stuff which he is not supposed to do, because if you know these things and the temple priests find out that you know this forbidden knowledge, they will send a group of their own left and to be 100% sure that you did not share said heretical knowledge with any of your fellow peasants and serfs, they will exterminate the entire village.
Yeah, you can't have. It's tough to keep people in control when they think for themselves.
Yeah, and they have like information, knowledge, and yeah, as you know, he was after his uh, village was destroyed, and he was captured and sold into slavery. He was sold exactly to these executioners. These how should I say it? It's almost like inquisitioners.
Mm-hmm.
They did do act almost like inquisitioners, but even the so-called dreaded Spanish Inquisition did not operate in the same vicious manner. Um, they were kind of like supremely lenient compared to the priesthood of Rot and its left. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He he was their pack mule basically for many years.
I can relate. I was a pizza delivery guy, so I think I had it easier, but I got to use a car.
Ah,
You had to run across the desert.
yeah, being
Shoot Leather
whipped.
Express.
Yeah, being whipped and running across the desert carrying stuff, heavy stuff. In most cases, with the bare minimum amount of water and food, and of course without shoes in most cases, because shoes are expensive.
Yeah. So, slightly spoilerish, but this is toward the beginning of the book. So, but pretty much when he gets free from that, it's due to the Terrans, and he trains with them, I believe.
Indeed, indeed.
He
He's
has that nice Japanese weapon with him, and
yep, yep. That's
weapons of peace.
of course. It's when you're gifted something to defend your freedom with, it is a weapon of peace. If you are, on the other hand, someone who is sent by a government or whatever other entity to steal things from others, be it land or their wealth, or they themselves to be sold in slavery, then it becomes a weapon of oppression, a tool of oppression. It's like the weapons are tools. It's like depends on who uses them and for what purpose.
Like any tool.
Yep.
But he ended up training. He became quite the soldier. And let's talk a little bit about the primary setting throughout most of the book. Now you'll have to forgive me. I read the book, obviously, enjoyed it, but I do have trouble remembering names sometimes. So what was the name of the planet again?
This is the Averna planet, Averna Prime. It's the home of the Avernum. They also call themselves as their own planet, the Averna.
Mm-hmm.
It's It's a
The beautiful
planet
people.
which, oh yeah, yeah, they are strikingly beautiful, and this is one of their
Which
curses.
we're going to take a look at the Neutron Bohr's artwork on that in a few minutes here. So.
Oh yes. So the Averna, they have been basically harvested for a number of centuries already. After
Hmm.
they eventually lost a war against the cannibalistic Yarn, who,
Well, they're pronounced the yarn.
yeah,
Okay, it's spelt with a G though, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I've been calling them the Gorn, but my bad.
Yeah, they're kind of they do look, share that look, like bulky dinosaur like people. So yeah, calling them the Gorn is appropriate. But they not only exploited the Averna as like slaves to be sold. They are, since the Yarn eat sentient people, they enjoyed the Averna as a food source. And their so-called god, they sacrificed the souls to him. Um, and it's been like quite the profitable venture for them, even though in the later years, as just as you read in the book, especially from the point of view of a certain slaver, in one of the first chapters, where said slaver mentions that we have, it's like we're getting rich, richer and richer. We can buy more armaments, like we can even buy more ships, and eventually potentially like grow into a small slaving empire, etc. But the Terrans are like slowly and surely putting a stopper to this, and uh, they are relentless and kind of merciless. And you know what happens later with this slaver? He gets to meet
Trying to remember.
the yeah, he gets to meet um, with Velen, and more like more likely before the end of the chapter, you, the reader, you discover that things are about to change, and Avelin is one of the drivers of this change.
Yeah. Now, Velen does appear at some point in the mainline Star Shatter series, correct?
No,
Oh no, he
he
doesn't.
does not. No, he is a character with his own stories, own adventures. He This is the first book the first novella he appears in, and there will be a few more. I wrote probably most of the drafts to a certain degree, and even began to work on the second novella of the series, which is called "Dwelling in the Bunker of Death."
The
You will
Bunker
not,
of Death.
yes, you will notice that there is like this old school 80s movie vibe
Cool.
in even in the titles. So yeah, he's the people who his allies, Veiling's allies, They come from a story I wrote for the first anthology, Mandate of Sword and Railgun. It's a story about a technomage, or how they are better known in the Star Shelter universe as sciencers. And this is probably it's probably one of the best stories about these times, and especially about Averna, the planet and the people. So yeah, and Valin's companion Rhea, the
Yes, the
Averna,
lore singer.
yeah, the lore singer, who accompanies him and helps him with the knowledge, because that's literally what the lore singers are trained to do, to preserve what little is left from the knowledge and culture of their people.
Yet it also almost acted as a key in some points where her singing would allow them access to certain places within old shrines.
Indeed, this is they had this. They still have partial access to this ancient technology of theirs, which is allowing them, not all of them, but certain individuals who are capable of it, to use the voice and heart, and actually seeing things in from matter into energy, and vice versa.
All right. Just want to say hi to the chat real quick, and then we're going to check out Neutron Boar's cover, and then we will go more into the role of the lore singer. So we got Kara Semenov. I hope I said that correct.
Yep.
Welcome. Arangmar, do you know that guy, Black Knight?
Yeah. Is
I hear he looks a lot like you. But
they
Lily
are
Fields.
they are some of my oldest readers and supporters.
That's awesome. That here they are, and they're actually going on this adventure with you as you create these stories, and they're reading along. And so it's got to be pretty cool to like have them like they've been there. It's almost like kind of backroom lore for you. These people have been there from the get go, and that's got to be a great feeling. So we got Lily Fields. Welcome. Kiko Man says going to be on the road, so he's not chatting. Drive safe, Kiko, and hopefully we'll see you.
Give the
See you
doggo
online
spits.
soon. Yes, he's got that adorable puppy now.
I know.
He also knows he's not going to stay little adorable. He'll still be adorable, but he's not going to stay little, or she. All right, Asher Brunette. Brunner, I'm so sorry. I keep mispronouncing his last name all the time. One of these days, he's going to just pop up in my house, hit me over the head, and say it's pronounced Brunert. I'm not even sure. but welcome, Asher. Nikolai Powell, hello.
Hello. Yeah, Kara.
Kara and Boris are my favorite characters from the first book.
Yes.
I see why you might like her name, but
Yep. That's Kiara is another Averna. She was the first Averna I wrote about in the books. So yeah.
okay.
She does not look like this one, like this girl. She's different. She has different outlook. But yeah, you can see that her hair has this bluish glow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's as you mentioned earlier, they are quite beautiful people. They're stunningly beautiful.
And then not nearly as pretty, but he's pretty fit. We got Velen right here.
Yeah, he's pretty
Putting that
efficient.
bayonet to work.
Oh yeah. It's if you remember, like the introduction. After the introduction, the first chapter describes his entire gear, the uniform,
Mm-hmm.
especially the buttons, and he's like everything that has been gifted to him, so that he can survive and win. Um, Plus the rifle, which is a gift from the Emperor of Japan. It's like he personally, well, he's not personally crafting the rifles, but he invests uh,
Right.
his some of his considerable wealth into um, ordering like the manufacturing of armaments like this. And it's something, it says a lot about the people, the so-called ruling class, but because they are no longer ruling class, they're more like leading leaders. They're not rulers, they lead, and
Through
they lead,
example.
yeah, by example, by action. And you the reader can compare what has been done to Velin and his people by their own rulers, and then compare what the Terrans did when they arrived. Um, it's not like they never compelled anyone to certain course of action. They just came there. They saw that the people are actually fighting for their freedom. They helped them, and after that, he was offered. He wasn't actually told, "No, you're going to become a soldier." No, they told him that, well, your people are quite capable of doing, um, let's say, farming. If you want, we can send you to a university and teach you like how to use space age technology and become like an agronomist or like something like that, someone like that. And he says, well, I can, but probably it's probably better that I actually become a soldier. He made the decision. He made the choice.
That choice worked out very well for the lore singer and and her community there. Which, by the way, I would like to go more into that role. Um, uh, so they, as a species, seem to have this because you demonstrated that in Star Shatter as well. Uh, Kara, I believe that was her name, right?
Yes.
And she could like tap into this almost like a universal consciousness, and she seemed to. It seems to be. Is it a genetic trait amongst her people to be
Yes.
able to do that?
It's more like spiritual trait. It's a trait of their souls, but it's not something that comes without any effort. They are all capable of it, but unless they don't work hard to improve it, it's not going to be extremely potent.
It's a
Let's
skill.
say,
You got to either hone it
yeah, yeah.
or it kind of atrophies.
You have to work for it. Otherwise, it's not gonna be highly efficient.
I
Uh,
noticed she never did things on the same level as Kara, but she did some similar things, especially in the uh, oh, what were they called? There's not a. It wasn't a bunker exactly, but it was kind of being used as one when the old collapsed. Not a temple. What was it called? Where they found all the kids and the ghosts?
That's the it's water work, like underground tunnels, irrigation tunnels,
Hmm.
and they built it to supply different farmlands, like with water back in the day. Um, it's well, they later, like the resistance, used these tunnels to strike from ambush at the yarn. But eventually, you know what happened. It's without sufficient allies and sufficient numbers and allies, you will get cornered and wiped out.
Yeah.
That's
But they approached it almost as if it was a shrine. They had like great this solemn respect for
oh
the
yes,
history of the place, even though it was
yes, yes. It's because these all of these places, they are ancient to them, like precious and ancient. And even though most of them has they have been uh, damaged and ruined in certain to a certain extent, and also desecrated by the invaders. Um, these places still stand, and in some cases they even work as intended, which is quite the proof for their the ancient Verna architect and what and like construction engineer level of competence. Oh,
got
hello,
Maji.
Magic Cat.
Yep, and she has a very important message. Boom,
She,
right
she
there.
wants her kitty army. Yes, of course. She will have a
but
lot of fun. Yeah.
but I do want to take a moment to just appreciate Neutron Bohr's artwork here, and like all the little details he puts in without it being too much. I mean, this is just fantastic.
Oh, yes. It took me, I think, a few months. I think 3 months. It took to completely finalize the standard issue uniform of the Luthorian riflemen, because they appreciated what certain a certain group of Terrans did, which, you know them, they fly around on their starship called Star Shatter. It
Yeah,
was them
they got a
who went there.
captain named Anitsa, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The same one, exactly. So yeah, they went there. They were instrumental in organizing all of this, um, the liberation of Luthorium, and they generally, Terrans, they don't like to be deified or be revered as like some almost like a demigod level of beings, because they know that they are not. But the Luthorians, they still did that kind of like, not full on like, oh, our new gods or something. No, they did not do that, but they still have like some level of reverence, which is justly earned. um, and all of the if you remember from the book, like all the buttons on these rifleman uniforms, they represent each of the buttons. They represent one of the crew members of Star Shutter.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Now, as you know, I've read Star Shatter. I have not gone on to Twin Suns quite yet, but I think you said chronologically in that universe, this book takes place between book 5 and 6.
Yes, indeed. That's after Final Liberation and before. No, after Secrets of Ultori and before Final Liberation. Yeah, that's the period where they prepare for a certain activities. I should say on her planet, on Kiara's planet, Kiara's home world, which her husband Boris, he's been preparing for. He's been employing most of his considerable pull and prestige within the two organizations he's a part of. As you know, he is a member of Psycorps and an influential lawman from ISEC. And being such, he has the ear of different people who may possess certain resources, and by certain resources, we can say that he actually sends special ops teams and other groups to his wife's homeworld in preparation for its liberation. So, without going into super spoiler territory, this is this what's that's and that's what happens with some what happened with some of the newly liberated Luthorians, those who volunteered to be sent there. It's as you know from the Sword and Planet genre. It's the setting is always like a ruined planet, which can support humanoid life, and once perhaps had like high technology, but now it's either ruled by warlords or fanatic cults or whatnot. It's pretty much quite close to what the restoration of this genre in terms of me compiling all of the tropes and such, and calling it sword and railgun, because the main difference here is that you may not have just melee combat and swashbuckling. You also have the space age weaponry, but being true to the old ways, you have this setting, which is that planet Averna, at world, which is a giant planet covered with ruined megacities, beautiful, which once were like probably gleaming through their tops would be gleaming through the clouds, piercing the clouds, visible from orbit, and everything is pretty much almost ruined to such an extent that the cities, they look like rotting skeletons. The oceans are drained, and have the look more of a like a giant puddle of mud or a swamp than an ocean. And you have ancient mausoleums. You have bunkers which dot the entire planet, where the few survivals huddle and cling to their life, sending their whatever males they can birth and raise to a certain tender age, so they can be um, sent out to fight and protect their bunkers.
Right.
Plus, you know that there are aliens who can come to this planet. Some are not um, bad.
Yeah.
They did not come to continue the slaving ways of those who occupied it.
Right. I noticed an interesting little piece of culture on this world, though. They their children don't receive a name until the age of 13.
Yes.
That's a different concept that I've never.
Well, they're considered dead until that age.
Really.
Yes, they're considered corpses. Um, it wasn't always like that in the beginning when they first fought their invaders. Everything was much better. They still had, even they had spaceships, they had mechs, they had tanks, they had artillery, they had aviation, they had everything. But throughout the centuries, little by little, everything eroded, fell apart, and now they used looted weaponry, the guns of their enemies, with like almost without any armor suits or specialist gadgets, which other space age armies can use, like the portable shield generators, etc. Like all of this is they no longer have it. So they had to survive. They had to adapt to survive. Um, which me, without going into super spoiler territory, yeah, when you read, let's say, the fourth Star Shutter book, you will understand more about how they procreate, how the Averna procreate, how the entire, like what mothers can do. um, and it's the sad reality of their survival, that they have to consider their boys, the boys that they're sending, basically child soldiers they're sending to fight, and they consider them dead until they reach a certain age.
Yeah, and the whole backstory of that world is just tragic, and here they are trying to change that. And there's some interesting tactics that they employed there at the end. Again, not trying to go too much into spoiler territory, but yeah, he is certainly a cunning tactician.
Oh, he'll learn from the best. He'll learn from the best. And in the following books, he will he will grow even more. He's going to be an active part, not only he, but his allies, the rest of the characters in the book. They will be. an active group, and perhaps almost like the tip of the spear of this movement across the planet, or at least that part of the planet, because the planet is quite huge,
Mhm.
against like organizing huddle groups of ex-adventurers, like remnants of small armies of military corporations or mercs, and survivors from this or another bunker, and they will make sure to organize these into small enclaves, like the ones that they already did manage to secure the existence of. But of course, it's not going to be easy, um, and many more enemies will pop up. Let's say they will make their appearance. Um, of course, the Yarn being chief among them, the Tazarans, because it's not Star Shatter without the Tazarans. But you will also read about enemies from his own homeworld, um, because not all lords and priests were vanquished. Some of them managed to avert their doom, escape. Yeah, in the second novella, which I already spoiled the name of, uh, it's all about a bunker, and it's the bunker that these child soldiers, this group of child soldiers, were unable to save. Which, if you remember, Valen promised them. He promised that he will help them eventually to recover their bunker.
Yes, he did. That's right.
Yeah.
And Maji Chan's got a question. What inspired Black Knight to translate his work into English? I'm very glad you did.
Uh, well, um, a number of things, but the last straw that broke the camel's back was me and a number of other people watching the first um, Disney Star Wars movie, if you can even call it such. And there were a number of children with their parents watching it, and I remember that their reactions during and after the movie. Um, it was quite sad. Some of them were stunned. Others were even angry at their parents that they have lied to them, that this is not Star Wars. What is this? So I will never forget it. It's something which I will remember to till the day I'm gone. That whole sense of like being in being at the funeral, and this
You kind of were. But
yeah, it wasn't at all like us, let's say, watching one of the older movies where everyone would laugh and talk about like the different moments, the different scenes that they loved in the movie, and everybody would chatter, and they would keep like it. It would have been like an uplifting sense when you're like walking out of the theater with that small crowd of people, and you could even see if the movie was good. You could even see that the gleam in their eye, that they had lots of fun and they felt happy. But back then you could see like you could look at a child's eyes, and you can see that they were almost like dead inside. They were crushed. So yes, that was the last straw for me. I think Magi-chan, that answers the question.
I just realized my mute was on. Sorry about that.
Uh,
I'm over here yapping away. All right. How many languages have you written that in? Is it two or three? Because I do believe you speak three, right?
I wrote the drafts in Bulgarian, and then gradually translated everything in English while I was studying,
So, so you,
learning.
so you have them published in two languages.
No, I'm only in English.
Oh, but
Yes.
you had to write it twice to publish it once, first in Bulgarian, then translate. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's dedication.
I wasn't able to publish it here. I'm not going to into like details why. It's irrelevant. Oh, good morning, Trippy. So yeah, that's about this question. Mm,
Yeah. If anyone else has questions for Black Knight, please put them in the chat. He is here. He is
oh
ready. He is
yes.
willing to answer.
Yep.
You got questions? These answers. I think I just ripped off a commercial for somebody with that comment, but I'm not sure who. All right. Well, let's take a look at the body of work you have so far. Is there a chronological setup for these, or
Yeah, they have their own numbers. You can see that each book is numbered.
obviously Star Shatter is book one. For
Yeah.
book two, we got Twin Sons of Corolla. For book three, Treads of Vengeance. Hey, that's actually.
You
I
will.
wonder if people at first glance would even realize this is a sci-fi.
Yeah.
Looking at the tank, I mean, I zoom in on the tank. I'm like, okay, that looks a little more futuristic than the tanks we got, but it's a little
It's
scary.
one day. One day when Neutron Board is finished with certain projects, we will have all the books. They will be sporting his wonderful covers.
This looks like
Yeah, that's the
a
anthology
Mandate
I
of Sword and
was.
Railgun. This looks like a neutron bore.
Yeah, that's Tazaran Heavy Trooper on the cover with his exoskeleton and heavy particle beam gun. Yes, that's quite lovely. And yeah, the Mandate became one of my bestsellers, just like the book, the novella that we are talking about right now.
Speaking of which,
Ah, yes.
this I'm just assuming that this will take place on Velen's homeworld.
Yep, exactly. It was quite the adventure, working on it and drafting everything, and then publishing it. And this one is set on Averna. This is actually what will what the events in this book is. They are the culmination of all the efforts that everyone put towards the liberation of Verna. And this is it's a thick book. It's quite a thick book with lots of nice battles, but also a lot of planning, a lot of adventure also, because it's not going to be the Star Shutter series without plenty of adventure. And this is the latest one. It's
Prince of the Stars.
yeah, Princess of the Stars.
Oh,
These the Averna, they are not like prominently in this book. It's more of a captains, and it's a Captain Anita's own journey, and he actually returns back to his own home world to visit his family. If you remember the way he departed
yes.
in the first book.
I'm sorry. Those poor bounty hunters got caught in the middle of that little family squabble.
Yeah. But this time, when he returns, he does not return alone. He's back with his crew. Not only his crew. This is the only thing which I'm going to say. And certain things are set in motion, even like starting from the beginning of the book, and even from the previous books. And he has to finally deal with certain people and tie loose ends. So yeah, it's quite the tale, and especially people who liked his own race, the Zentari, and desired to know what the heck happens there, why certain things are as they are now, and what actually was back in the day when the Zentari were called the Princess of the Stars, and they had this armada of theirs, the exploration armada, and they were traveling across the galaxy and making friends with like different alien species. And why are they not doing it anymore? This is like it's a pivotal part of the story.
And it's going to take me a little while to get there. I got a lot of catching up to do. I've only
Yeah,
read Star Shatter and
you need to read them.
and the Rifle Song.
You gotta read them. It's you
Need to learn to speed read.
you're like one of my older readers. She loves saying when she's talking about Star Shatter. She says like, don't be the one who's missing out.
Yeah.
No, I haven't played them. Trippy. No, I can't. Oh yeah. You can see Boris and Kira there. Like
I was trying to
to
blow it
the
up more.
right
That's as much as it can expand.
to the right of Captain It's sword. Yeah, you can see them. Yeah, this is this is uh, quite the beautiful cover made by Leopold, one of the fans. She took a lot of time, of her own time, which I'm really grateful. Um, so yeah, she did an excellent job, especially look at Captain Anita and with his glass of wine and his uniform, he looks really, really fabulous.
And of course, there's awesome.
Yep, yep, with his pilot jacket, with the different squadron patches. Hmm.
So who's the guy lying on the floor here?
It's Zentari nobleman who attempted to do something. You'll
Apparently,
you'll
it didn't
find
go
you'll
well.
uh, well,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
I'm not asking for spoilers here.
no,
So
no.
if
Maybe back in the day, before like Kanitsa's travels and all of his difficult battles and all the villains vanquished and all the bleeding and all the wounds he suffered and all the hardship, etc. Maybe back then that nobleman would have won. But sitting on your ass on your planet without facing adversity and battling tough enemies, you're not. How should I put it? You're not gonna level up. Yeah, the Zentari found out. I will not go into too much detail, but I will attempt to limit that because it it's not something that I like to do. He may know about them, like a lot of people know about them, especially on Lutoria. They are revered. They're basically the heroes who led the way. Of course, they almost died, but that's not. He's yeah. He may see them.
yeah, just
Well,
for those who are just listening and not watching, the question from Kara Simonov across the bottom of the screen is: do you think Velen will have much interaction with the main Star Shadow crew? So that's what he's addressing right now.
he may see them, but it will be from afar. It's not.
Yeah, maybe a quick crossing of paths, but not like not sharing an entire adventure together or anything.
No. He has his own stuff to do, and they have their own lives, their families, their children, etc. It's it's different. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are currently working on book 8, and you have your series plan is a total of 10 for this
Yeah. They
technology.
yes. That's the plan. That I have the drafts and everything. And just it just takes some time to finalize everything.
Mhm.
Being an author yourself, you know that it's and especially with this kind of thing like a long series, it took as we talked earlier in the first stream. Um, yeah, it takes time to plan.
Yeah. And sometimes when you actually get to it, because as you sit there and write it out, the details become more clear in your mind, and then you start to realize, oh, that's not going to work. Because
uh,
as you're writing, you realize I have this character here, and then you get that why didn't he type of question. It's like, wait a minute, if I have him here, why didn't he just do this and make it avoid? It's like, oh, I just plot hold myself, and sometimes you got to make some alterations to smooth it out and make it make sense.
oh
Because
yes,
I just dealt
yes.
with that, and with what I'm working on, I was like, it was just bugging me. I finished a chapter, and I'm like, I should be happy. I'm not. And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized, you know what? This is sloppy. And I last night I sat down and kind of rewrote a good chunk of the chapter. I was like, I'm not going forward with the rest of the book till I'm happy with this here. You know.
Yes, this is how you do it. This is how we do it. It's this is how we grow as writers and authors, um, by demanding excellence from us, from ourselves, and also uh, growing together with our audience, with our readers, who, us being indie authors, they kind of uh, help us a lot along the way, and they are like integral part of the entire process, because we are more like a mom and pop shops, with all the neighbors who shop at our shop, and they help us, let's say, clean the store, stock the shelves. They bring their own, let's say, the eggs from their hands to sell at our shop. um, they barter with us. They give us stuff in exchange of our merchandise, and we also do the same. So this is how I view this entire relationship with us, the Iron Age India authors, and our readers.
Yeah. And
This is a
but on the other
this is
hand, being indie authors gives us a degree of freedom that many
oh yeah.
others don't. I mean, if you got a publisher, yeah, they'll handle the advertising, they'll put the word out, that marketing, which is our Achilles heel. Let's face it, marketing is, as an indie author, for the most part, our Achilles heel. If you got a like a big internet presence or something, then you could just say, "Hey guys, I'm doing this," and you got people that are hearing you to check it out. But without that, it's a bit of an uphill battle. But we have so much more freedom than those who go through a publisher, because I've heard that people like will write a book, and the publishing house they quarried with, they're like, this is really good, but we need to change this element and this element for today's sensibilities, and it just slowly
uh,
sucks the soul out of their story for the publisher to
yes,
greenlight
they
it,
have
and
sensitivity.
we don't have to
Yeah.
deal with that, thankfully.
No, they have they're going through sensitivity.
Thank you, Kara.
Yeah. um, they're going through through sensitivity editors and readers who have to basically they um, it's another form of censorship. You're not allowed, like you almost, you're not allowed to write about the other cultures and races, if you're not of the same culture and race. And if you do, all of your work has to go through these people, um, which is pretty much insane. um, and no, just no. They can they have already attached themselves to the dying mainstream. um, it's when it kind of crumbles, finally they will crumble with it. It's like they will be swept away by their own choice. It's like a certain character said in a certain movie about Indiana Jones, not the new bad ones, like the old ones. You have chosen wisely. And in their case, it's like you have chosen poorly. So
And I don't know if they fully realize it yet, because it is slowly
no,
sucking the soul out. It
no.
is like, yeah, you're hitting all the check boxes that a very loud but small mob on Twitter wants you to hit, but why are they getting all the attention when pretty much the majority of people don't care? don't want what they're selling, or what the Twitter mob is claiming that they should be selling. Because these
Yeah.
aren't the people that are buying their products anyway. They're just looking. They're going around the internet looking for something to hate on, and that's it.
Yep.
And I actually feel bad for them. It's got to be a miserable existence going around. I mean,
Oh,
I
but
get it.
you
Sometimes you see
may.
something, you want to speak out, and say, "Hey, in my opinion, that's bad, and here's why." But they just like they're looking for a reason to be outraged. And
You are not wrong there. They're sad, but they like it. They love it. It's
I
like it's
can't
become part of
comprehend
them.
how.
Well, it's yeah, that's it's a certain mindset. They have like instead of trying to win, um, they they focus on I think that if I remember correctly, there was a saying: winners do the winning, and losers focus on the winners. I'm not 100% that that's like the exact an exact translation, but instead of making their own, because they always fail when they make their own because they have literally no life experience, and they almost hate real life. They claim um, it's somehow oppressive, it's racist, it's
Well,
this and
I'll
that,
agree with them
blah blah blah.
partially. Sometimes I hate real life too, but
Yeah, but you have to live it, because this is like it's not all bad. It's you it's probably the best, the game with the best graphics and if in real life effects ever so far, talking about real life. Hehe. But they I mean, if you look at what they do, it's they're constantly looking for anything they can complain about, and they keep segregating everything and everyone into different boxes, and they like if you're well if you're of this ethnicity and this culture and this religion, you should like this. There is no like deviation allowed. You will go there in your box, the one that we have assigned to you, and you will stay there, and you will do say and like the things that we want you to, we allow you to. That's it.
yeah, until you have just one tiny little disagreement, as the primary example right now would be J.K. Rowling, where
Yes,
she
yes.
agrees with pretty much everything the woke mob says, except one little thing. She's like, "No, I see it slightly different. There's a difference here," and they lose their minds.
Yes, yes, and then you're excommunicated, and they will eat you alive.
It, it's almost like it's just looking for clicks and likes on steroids. It's like if I scream about how this is unjust in some way, everyone's going to give me more likes, and I think that's how it just kind of feeds itself into this monstrous storm of I hate everything.
Yeah, it's like it's strange that you have book 4 on the screen, because in it I did a little um, exploration of things that no longer exist on the Earth in Star Shutter, like certain groups who are so keen to the proper term is debunk stuff, and adhere to the experts, quote unquote experts' opinion on certain things, other issues. These are the people who never think for themselves, and if no matter how much you try to uh, explain to them that what they're doing is, it's like it's nonsensical, that it's not true, that the experts are lying to them, that basically every person whom they label, let's say, a conspiracy theorist or something like that, that's actually, these people are, they have the correct factual information, and they, of course, they deny that because it's not given to them by their beloved experts. It's not oh, it's not peer reviewed by our experts, blah blah blah, so therefore it's not true. So yeah, I did there is a part in the book where Captain Anitsa is dealing with a number of debunkers, a small group, a trio of them, and it's quite refreshing. You will see. Uh okay. So Akira says, "But I'm happy Japanese companies ban idol cosplayers, other artists from getting political, keeps virtue signaling out." Yeah, they have strict contracts, and they only pursue fun. Period. It's like, keep your, like, you may have whatever, like, political views. That's okay. That's fine. It's like, nobody is telling you not to. It's just, well, when you're in entertainment, we want you to entertain. That's it. Period.
Yep.
And that's why manga is crushing the what's left of the comics, the mainstream, at least the mainstream comics.
Yeah. I for now, I mean, I think
Oh
a lot
yes,
more
yes,
independent comics are
yeah, yeah.
gonna kind of join manga.
Yep, yep, yep. That will happen. That it's already happening. It's already happening.
Yep.
I can see
And,
the ISOM. I can see the ISOM cover behind you.
oh yeah. I wonder when he's getting ready to. I know it takes some time.
Oh, it
It
takes
takes some
actually
time for
a lot
this
of
stuff
time.
to get done. I mean, yes, to the stream is about the Star Shatter series, but just for a moment, yeah, that artwork, that's not something they crank out overnight, you know. And this was 90 something pages, so that's number one. So I mean, it's got to take some serious time for the
Oh
second
yeah,
to come out. I wonder when that's going to be. That's coming eventually, obviously. I just wonder
months,
when.
probably months. Yeah, probably months.
Okay, question. Do you think Star Shadow would make a great comic, or maybe some of the other adventures? You
Well, that's
know,
that's a great question. So, it will have plans for a manga, or maybe like indie uh, art comic, which would be about Akira's favorite character, is also named Akira. Um, and I created the character many years before I even like met her on Minds. So um, that's she always likes to say that that was fate, and she would be correct.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a short, let's say a short story arc. I have the draft for it. Obviously, writing about comics is different because you have more story showing that's than storytelling, and it's not like
Yeah, completely
it's
different.
it's really different. And it's like, it's apart from the art, like, you need someone who actually knows how to do it. So it's not gonna happen like this. But ideally, this is a short story about this girl Akira, who is a teenager, who whose family and friends they get killed during a yarn raid on her colony. She survives, but she's blinded by one of their weapons, and she makes for a time she makes her living from selling repaired guns, um, which she's capable of doing it with some like gadgets, aid, blind aid, and yeah, it's indeed it is a short story, but it's very Star Shutter, very indicative of how, especially the youth, how they are raised, what they do to improve their abilities to survive, because it's not an easy life. You don't sit on the couch at home watching, let's say, Netflix, something like Netflix, and stuffing your face with tasty food. It's no. It's like some may do it, but they're not going to do it to this all the time. Maybe
It's
on
not going to
somebody
be
like,
their daily habit.
no. It's like their deadly habit is actually touching grass, um, going outside, having fun with their friends, driving cars, or flying spaceships, or like piloting mecha, or training in something, or cooking some set tasty food. It's like they are not, because the Terrans know that they could be invaded and wiped out any day. They are not wasting their time. Every minute of every day is lived to the fullest.
Especially for awesome.
Oh yes.
That's just the hamster way of life.
Yeah, his life
Live
is
it.
short. It's hamsters. They don't live like way too many years. Like humans may live up to
What,
up.
what is the uplifted hamster's lifespan?
Well, someone may get to let's say 50, but that's like that's old hamster, really old.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually pushing 50 myself. I'm like, but if I were a hamster, I'd probably be already done just from sheer age.
You'd be like floating around in an elder assisted graph belt device, like because your like muscles will not be able um to and bones and other things will not be strong enough to support you moving about. So yeah, they have this.
Trippy's got a pretty good question. Why did you choose these animals to be uplifted?
That's a secret. You have to read more. You'll find out.
Gotcha. Oh, so the answer to that is a bit of a spoiler in and of itself, then, huh?
Yeah, it's really it's really cool. You'll find it out. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, the
Hmm.
readers. I found out that they just like me. We love a good mystery, and I'm not talking about the bullshit Hollywood quote unquote mystery boxes, which are empty or full of stinking stuff. Um, no, it's actually something which you have to set up properly. Of course, nobody is perfect. I made plenty of mistakes, but from my readers' feedback, I'm told that I did set up the major things, which I'm not going to spoil, Trippy. No, 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 no. You have to read it. That's the beauty of it. How does it work? Well, it's. Do you want me to give you? Well, I can't go into like the super details, but um, you have a few ways. One is like the easiest ways to use the wormholes that already exist, and they connect different parts of space. In most cases, they connect star systems. You need to have this drive, this device that actually slides you, like slides your ship into the wormhole, and then you fly by using your engines, your relativistic engines inside the wormhole. But the wormhole has a different set of physics laws, which they are. It's like the physics, the hyperspace physics in Star Shuttle. It's something that I believe will one day be disclosed, and people will understand that there were limitations to what we know. Just well, it's this is the reality. You can't know everything, and it's like when you reach a certain level, soon more scientists discover that wait, it's like, oh, but if I solve this new equation, it's like I will get a new understanding of like different like I will discover a new particle, or I will discover this and I will discover that. Like let's give the example of the gravitational waves, which Einstein spoke of. If you are aware, well, without going into details, that's the principle. So basically, the wormholes are the easiest way to fly faster than light. Um, and but the problem is that you have a set entry and a set exit point. You can't snap your fingers and just create a wormhole, and
It was pretty much an interstellar monorail.
it's pretty much.
So
And it's
there's no,
stuff.
so they're not like jumping to warp or hyperspace or anything like that. That
There
is
is
what they're
there
hopping
is
in there, and that's
there
all they
is
can do.
there is
Oh, maybe, but I mean, as far as the wormholes go, it's set locations. You could only get off
Yeah,
at the
set
station.
locations. Yeah, but some wormholes, they do not have just one entry and one exit point. They have multiple ones, and these are the most ancient and huge wormholes. Some of them even have like derelict starships inside, even planets.
Oh,
So
inside the wormhole.
yes,
Oh, that's interesting.
and then you have like um, the second type of the faster travel is hyperspace, through hyperspace,
Hmm.
which is actually folding space time around, like as in a pocket around your ship, and you move through hyperspace, which is they call it uh, the soul of the universe. The visible thing, the visible matter is called the flesh of the universe, like the planets, the suns, the stars, etc., etc. So it's it's Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah, Trippy. You can make a short hyperspace jump in system. No problem. You can make it.
Yeah.
It just requires advanced navigation. It's not just clapping your hands and just I'm going to do a short jump and pop behind that planet. It's
Yeah,
not that easy.
just
Yeah,
engage the transfer case, turn on four-wheel drive, and you're there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but it requires energy. This hyperspace travel requires a bit more energy and more like advanced navigation. Um, and It was developed from what the telepaths are capable of. They can do that. They can do the same. They can fold space um, because their powers come from
The
hyperspace.
what are capable of?
The telepaths. The telepaths, like I said, they are capable of folding space. Some of them, not all of them. Like Boris, for example.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's not easy,
So he
and
could
it
do it under his own energy.
yeah. Well, that's not actually all of all the energy does not belong to him. That's going into spoiler territory.
Gotcha. I like that Trippy was asking that because I think you were there. He there on the chat that night where he was helping me figure out an
I know.
FTL system
I
for
know.
my own. Since I use electric universe theory as the physics system for my world, and
Yeah,
Trippy's
I
an
remember that.
electrician,
Yeah.
it kind of helped out quite a bit.
Yeah, it's in the books. There are some moments where, let's say, one of the characters thinks about that, and she mentions she thinks about some certain things, FTO related, hyperspace related, and I'm talking about Vasilisa. And it's the fact there that the universe is not expanding. It's like that that what some scientists who have no knowledge of, let's say let's call them pre-warp scientists, have no knowledge of the existence of wormholes and hyperspace. They assume that the universe is expanding because they are actually watching uh, everything bend through the hyperspace curve, and this is what they see. It's almost like a sensory illusion for them. But when
Like
you
lensing,
the what?
it says almost like a sensory illusion.
Yes.
Kind of like some lensing going on where it looks like things
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of bend.
yeah. Like for let's say something like Fata Morgana in the desert.
Gotcha.
But like this is oversimplifying it, but this is what actually happens. And when they actually learn about everything else, is like, oh shit, like we may have been a little bit wrong about this whole FTL thing. We may have been wrong. So yeah, that's
Yeah, well, we're never more than just one day away from some scientist making a discovery that makes all our
oh
sci-fi
yes,
obsolete.
oh yes, oh yes.
And one of these days they're going to come out, hey, we figured out this. Here's the proof. Things work like this. It's like, well, Star Trek makes no sense anymore. Darn. Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
That I wonder. We're eventually going to reach points where we discover real science and look at our sci-fi and go, oh man, where we had it all wrong.
Or maybe we'll say, oh wait, that we thought that was science fiction, but actually that was real.
Well, that's the Star Trek sick bay. They're their communicators and the shape of their medical beds and all that. Those things actually ended up working.
Yeah,
Became our cell
basically,
phones, and
basically.
they had tablets in some of the.
Oh yeah, yeah. They had tablets. They had.
So I mean,
But
sci-fi is like you get some actual real world ideas that stick.
mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
So you are planning a second decology for Star Shatter, or did?
No, it's Star Shutter ends like at least um, this story ends with the Star Shutter series,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have another decology which is set in the same uh, universe but
Mm-hmm.
on Earth, and during their own version of World War II, which is quite different, quite different. And and they, let's see, some of the characters I don't want to go too far away because you haven't, and many of you may have not yet finished these books. But there are some characters, some really old veteran characters in the Star Shutter series, which uh, they meet them, and these characters I used them to establish certain things about this period of time. Uh, and yeah, it's going to be them. It's going to be them. They will be the heroes of that decology. And it's going to be, if you are aware of a series of games, the XCOM series, where they fight aliens. It should be.
Not
It's like super. It's super well known. So in the XCOM series, it's like the premise is that all governments have a secret organization called the XCOM, and when the aliens come, and like the saucer aliens with flying saucers, basically, they come and try to abduct the people, like do even do attacks on certain cities and such as a prelude to an invasion. This organization activates and they fight against the aliens, and they try to recover alien tech. They perform autopsies, they research and stuff like, and eventually like the goal is to repel the invasion. So I have no, I don't know how um, without spoiling the game for you, the games for you. It's a quite, like, it's very interesting style of games where you level up soldiers, you research technology, you collect derelict alien craft, you shoot them down in some cases, you build bases. It's an RPG, let's say, war slash base building simulator. Basically, that's what it is. So yeah, and that Star Shutter decalogy set in the Second World War is, they have a similar organization back then. It's called Squad Zero,
yeah.
um, which back in the day they were dealing with not only with the communists during the war, but They were also hunting down crypto beasts, monsters on Earth, and such. They even went off world by use of portals, which they are basically hyperspace displacement devices that are connected in a, well, not actually in a network, but you can say that they are somewhat similar to how the Stargate operates, but without the gate. It's just a platform. It's a
Gotcha.
platform. You step on that platform, you activate the device, and then you appear on another platform somewhere else, or you may appear inside a mountain and die because the platform was um, put it.
Buried.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something that may happen. So in this decalogy, that's with these older characters. They are in their prime back then. That's what they're going to do. They will deal with aliens, mysteries, monsters, etc., etc. It's yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Let's see. I just saw that link.
Yeah, you can read
Let
it
me
later.
get that up there.
Mm. Yeah, Kira. Yeah, let me
Was there
just get
something in there
this.
you wanted to address?
Oh, no, no,
Or
no. I just that was something which was theorized by Einstein, that he predicted, and then many decades later, finally, when the scientists have developed sensors capable of detecting said gravitational waves, then they discovered. I was
I
just
noticed
telling.
the geometry of them. Everything's coming out in that flower of life
Oh
pattern.
yes, oh yes, that too, that too. So yeah, yeah. It's later they will probably
Yeah. By the way,
use.
at what point?
At what point?
Oh, go ahead.
Later they will probably use a variation of these same sensors to detect the wormholes. And after they detect the wormholes, time will come much later. Maybe I don't know how much later, when they will discover hyperspace. Um, they might not call it hyperspace, because the wormhole is a sci-fi term. They actually call the scientific term was Einstein-Rosenberg bridge. The wormhole. This is how it's
Hmm.
called. I have no idea how they will name it, but it's like many scientists are, and physicists and engineers are sci-fi geeks. So let's, like, fingers crossed, they might actually call it hyperspace. We'll see.
Hey, Trippy, is that actual bending of space that the telescope is detecting, or is that just some kind of lensing that's taking place, giving it fact?
Oh, they're seeing something. They're seeing something.
But at what point in your universe does the history diverge from
Many,
real history?
many points. Plus, you have certain things like the quote unquote ancient aliens, like a certain channel coined the term. It's well before that, authors coined that term. Like, yeah, the ancient alien visitations and such. Uh, Certain people visited Earth many times. It's like different groups, and they each had their own agenda. And and the the Zentari even they visited Earth. Captain Alliance's people, they visited Earth. Um, and let's say one spoiler. I can give you one spoiler, which is about Egypt. Egypt, ancient Egypt, pre-flood Egypt is still here in
Yeah.
Star Shutter. It's still there, and
Interesting.
some countries, some ancient, some like let's not call them ancient, but some of the empires that we know from our own history, they never existed. Others much older than them, which fell apart. They kept existing. That they are still here to this day in the Star Shutter universe, because that's part of the alternate history thing. And then you have some of the modern nations that they did not evolve the way that ours did. And no, there are no Nazis in Star Trek. Germany never became the Germany of, like, it's called Free Germany, and it's a federation of free cities. That's that's
That's
a
actually pretty cool because
it's
a
a
lot of
minarchic union. It's like no, just like
a
most
lot of people
European
like to go play
countries.
with history. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was what I wanted to say.
Yeah, a lot of people like to play with history. What if the Nazis had won, or what if they were bigger and badder? This is the first I've seen where someone asked, "What if they just never got off the ground?" That's kind of cool.
Mm, I don't want to go at the length that I did, like additional research, but you have things that, let's say, of a bunch of different authors um, talked about, like, for example, the from the UFO community, um, this thing, these events that and sightings of, like, tall, blonde, like very tall, blonde aliens who visit people. You've
Hmm.
watched a
The
bunch of,
Nords.
yeah. And it's like they are an integral part of the Star Shutter universe, and they're like the space aliens who come from, like, a distant part of the galaxy, but it's like, yeah, they have descendants, like half human, half space alien, who one of them is Auric in the books, and they have these healing powers, if you remember.
I
So
do.
yeah, that's
Him
that's
in the
that's the thing.
spacer.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the goal, by the way.
Yeah. For those just listening, Zuviel said, Star Shatter intrigued me in how it took the whole idea in a completely different direction, referring to two alternate histories.
Yep. And he, by the way, he has he wrote a bunch of reviews. He's probably one of the first reviewer of
Awesome.
Star Shatter. So yeah, he has like blog reviews, really long. If you liked, you can check them out. By the way, Wrangler, you can see them on Minds.
On Minds?
Yep. Give me a second. I had the link. Yeah, you can go click on blogs. Just have the link. Here you go. Sending it in the private chat. The duck. Yeah. It's yeah. It is a bit on the fan channel side, but you do have like your own stories and such, and even poetry that you've written. So like being a fan of Star Shutter is not this is not your only shtick. So yeah, you can see this is his latest review. He wrote about the book we were talking about, the Rifle Song. But you can find like on the blog section, you can find all of his stuff, his blogs, and he has different stuff. He even had like back in the day when the books were still brand new, he wrote a blog about each of the characters. No, I don't think that you will. No, just going back to the blog section and
I was looking for. I'm looking for the part that says blog.
Yeah, click on.
Or is it just feed?
No. I sent you the direct link to the blog. It says blogs.
Okay, so I'm on the right page then, right? Or did I click the wrong thing? Hang on. Try that again. Yeah, that's what I'm on, I think.
It should say blogs. In the link says like it says his channel and then blogs, because this you're just in the feed. You're just scrolling through the feed. When you click under the feed, there is type all. Click on the type all and select blogs.
Ah, okay. I never knew that before.
Yeah, but I did send you the link directly to the blog page.
There we go. So this should be it.
Yeah, you can scroll down and you will see all the blogs. This is how you do selective.
Gotcha. I had never been on Minds before until you mentioned it to me. That's you're the reason I have a Minds page.
Well, eventually,
I'm just not a social media guy for the most part. So
I get
a lot to learn on these.
You will need it. You'll need it so we can promote yours and other indies books and art and stuff. Yeah, that's
Ron's Gambit book review. Yeah. I like what the I like how his chessboard kind of echoes the cover of yours.
Yep. I think this is the these are the crew my character blogs he wrote. Yep. That's the idea. I mean, with that blog function in on Minds, you can do a whole lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Reviews, your own stories, anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, unfortunately, we are now up against the clock.
Yep.
So we're going to have to do some wrap up. Now, the link directly to the rifle song is in the description of this video. But from right there, you could click on Black Knight and see all his available work. See, back to the chat. So Zuvio said, since Star Wars, Star Trek are basically dead, thankfully I found Star Shatter. Trippy says, got to go to the office. Keep up the great work, guys. Zuvia says, yeah, the blog section is pretty unique and a lot of fun to use. And Katsukira says, Minds is awesome. I get more interaction than my company Twitter account. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
And so you and Katsukira found each other on Minds, I see.
Yes, I mentioned earlier. Mentioned it earlier.
All right. Oh, Black Knight, thank you so much for coming back on. Anything else you want to part with? Anything you want to bring up before we wrap it?
Well, I hope that time and energy will allow me to publish 3 books this year. I hope.
Nice.
I'm working really hard right now. After taking some much deserved rest during the holidays, Christmas and New Year.
Yes. How many times have I seen you on the forum? My fingers are hurt.
Yeah.
You've been just like focused like a laser on this.
Yeah.
And it's
I actually
clearly it's paying off. You have this awesome series.
I'm progressively getting better, slowly, just bit by bit. And I hope that when people read the intro book, which is one of the oldest drafts, even though I kind of improved upon it and released a newer edit with Neutron Boar's awesome cover. When they compare my the first the intro book of the series and the newest, the latest book, they will have fun and they will appreciate the growth, which could not have happened without the my readers and my friends' input. This is how all of us indies grow. We're not some infallible geniuses with giant corporations behind us who can provide everything from what when you said like
Marketing.
marketing, like super duper special team of editors, etc etc. This is not who we are. We are the mom and pop shops for fun. That's it. We're the actual grassroots creators. We've been
And
doing this for a long time. Some of us, others have just joined in on the fun, like you and many others. And but that's like the difference is there is no difference. We're in the same. You're in the same battleship.
yeah. Yeah, it looks like Zuviel's also got that creative blood flowing too.
Yeah, he just has to actually write it.
I know what that's like. Some days it's just a matter of just sit my butt in front of the screen and work on it. Other days
There is no
it's like I'm
escaping
a
it.
band possessed. I can't stop myself.
There is no escaping it.
All right. Thank you once again, Black Knight, for coming on. And oh yes, that's a nice comment to end this with. Begun it has the Iron Age of media.
Yeah, very Yoda. Very Yoda. Yeah.
All right. Thank you again, Black Knight. Check it out. Velen Lothorian, The Rifle Song, available now on Amazon, along with the rest of the available Star Shatter series. Link is in the description below. Black Knight, thank you very much. If you enjoyed the presentation, hit the like. And if you didn't, I appreciate you stopping by. I'll see you next time. And God bless.
Bye, guys.